Well, welcome back folks, another edition of boat maintenance on board. So today's job is the fuel filters, both primary and main. I've got a Recoil filter to clean out, and I'll show you all the bits and pieces about cleaning the filter out, because it's not just about cleaning or pulling the filter out and putting a new filter in. You really need to split all the components within your Recoil filter and give them a clean, because trust me, the diesel bug, it gets everywhere. And I'll show you the pitfalls of the Recoil filter, of all the locations that the diesel bug will get into and make it very hard to clean it out, sort of thing. But and not always as well you can visually see it, so you really got to look for it. But yeah, anyway, so the components I'm going to do are obviously filter, the actual filter for the Recoil. I've got my actual engine filter in another box, I'll get that a bit later. Tools and equipment, just a bit of brake cleaner, something like that, to clean out the filter where you really need to. Plenty of the blue roll, truckloads of that. A suitable bucket to catch the diesel in from the filters. I have to use something like a paint sort of tub, really. 1 gallon this is, just because of the location it is, and I can't get a big bucket in there, so use that. Plenty of gloves, truckloads of those as normally. That diesel gets everywhere, it's horrible stuff. Couple of thin screwdrivers, just so when you split the Recoil filter, you can sort of just hook out all the horrible bits and pieces with the screwdriver, not going too mad so you don't damage it. Suitable socket set to undo the filter, and you're going to need also a filter wrench for the filter on the engine as well to undo. So yeah, show you all those a bit later on, but I'll show you the filters. So there's my Recoil filter. At the very bottom there you can see like a little drip tray which I made out of the bottom of a 5 litre container, just to take up any drips that may come about in the normal running of the engine. And also my other filter as well is just down there as well, so that's not too bad to get hold of and undo and put a new one on. So yeah, so let's get to it. I'll do the Recoil filter first, so I'll show you that as I do it. So okay, first things first, get your tub underneath where the drain hole is of the filter. So there's a drain hole for draining off the water at the very bottom of the filter glass bowl. So you just turn that and let all the fluid drop into the bucket, and also undo the top of the handle to let the air in, which makes it go quicker. I must add that I have turned the fuel lever off at the tank so that it doesn't filter back through. It's finally all going. And it's just a question of undoing the filter cap. Make sure there's an O-ring on there and you replace that O-ring there. Still plenty coming through. Just release the cap, releases the air. Again, make sure you replace the rubber seal on the cap. It's still draining off. This is where you need a little screwdriver just to prise the little lugs up of the filter, so you can grab the filter and pull it out. So there we go, there's the filter. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. Pretty manky, plenty of gunk on it. So I'm just going to place that in there. This is where you need plenty of blue roll now, just to wipe the hands, keep it all nice and clean. Just going to let it drain off a bit, and then we'll start undoing the actual bolts around here, so that we can get the glass bowl off. So okay, it's finished draining off. I'm just going to move the tub of diesel out of the way. I'm going to have a little bit of dripping coming from there into the little drip tray at the bottom, which is fine. So it's just a question of undoing the bolts to get to the glass bowl now, and let's do that. It is a 1/4 inch socket, so it's not mil, it's 1/4 inch. So just to crack them off, and undo the bowl. Well, I've undone the back two, now the front two to do, and then we're released. And I can see there's plenty of rubbish in the bottom of this filter. Plenty of diesel bug. It's half a slippery job. Right, there we go. And again, another O seal. Make sure that comes off and it's not stuck under there. So let's just take that off, put that down where I can get to it. Hopefully you can see that rubbish in there. Look at all that diesel bug in there, like jelly. You can see it, look. Ooh, horrible stuff. And a bit of water. So it's well due a clean, that's for sure. I do regularly drain off the water and keep an eye on the filter anyway, sort of thing. So yeah, let's chuck that in there. Again, plenty of diesel bug on there. So I don't know what the real name for this compartment, this bit here. I'll call it the witch's hat. So that unscrews, but there's a ball bearing and a seal in there. So when you take that off, be mindful, there will be a ball bearing. So just be ready for that. It's just a matter of unscrewing it. Taking it apart, that comes off like so. I'll put that in the bucket as well. And the ball bearing, I'll just see if I can show it to you, is in there with a seal. So make sure that don't drop out. I'm going to drop it out into the bucket. It's dropped out. And in there, I don't know if you can see it, you may not be able to see it, I'll try and focus it as best I can, is loads of diesel bug in there, all stuck in it. It all gets stuck in those little recesses in there. This is where you need to get the screwdriver in there and hook it all out. because you'll be surprised what gets stuck in there, and that's where your fuel comes out. And that there is for centrifugal in the fuel out. So when the fuel gets pushed into the filter system, it runs through there, past the ball bearing, and is spun out as it flows around the filter. So it's designed to do that, so it helps split the water from the fuel. Okay, so it's important you get that nice and clean, and it takes a bit of time. Okay, and again with that, make sure that it's all clean in there as well. So that's what we'll do. So let's get some cleaning done, and we'll show you as best I can what it looks like. Right, okay, so you can see my little bowl where I've put the diesel into. I've left the diesel in there, and so it's just a matter of cleaning all the components really. So don't forget, as I said, take the O-ring off, ditch that, and yeah, just a matter of getting all that gunk out. So it's just a matter of getting the blue roll and cleaning it out really as best you can. Plenty of it, plenty of roll, and get it all cleaned out. It takes a bit of time, well, it's well worth doing it, well worth doing it, and prevents any sort of fuel blockages and potential breakdowns really. That's what it potentially does, keeping on top of this sort of stuff. Getting a little screwdriver and just making sure you get into there. There's like little crevices here and there, just making sure you get into it and look it all out really, and making a real good job of it really. So it takes a bit of time. And just a matter of getting some diesel in there and swirling it around. Make sure it's all clean. Looks fairly clean in there now. Let's just test the drain hole, make sure that works. Yeah, that's working. So yeah, all good stuff. So that's that pretty much clean actually. It's not too bad. It's not too bad cleaning the bowl. I've got another bucket beside me here that I'm putting all the dry, well, the clean stuff I should say. And because this diesel stuff, as you know people, is horrible smelly stuff. It really is horrible. So let's tackle this. So as I said, I'll call it the witch's hat. I don't know the actual true name, but in there I can see loads of gunk and horrible stuff. So I'll see if I can look some of this out and show you guys. I can see it. I don't know if you can see it in there. I can just trying to hook it out enough so I can get a bit in and show you. Yeah, there we go. Look at that horrible gooey stuff. Just put it on the towel. And sometimes you need to look an airline as well, just to blow this out as well. Maybe, you know, it's all stuck in there. Yeah, let's see if I can get this. Oh, I had a nice big bit there. See if I can get it, look it out. Yeah, look at that. Oh, and that. That will soon stop your fuel flow if you're not careful. It is truckloads of it in there, truckloads of it. Anyway, I'll keep cleaning this, and I'll show you a bit more in a bit. Right, I think I'm finally there. It's all clean as best I can get it. I don't think there's anything more in there, so it's just a question of getting a bit of brake clean or something like that. Just giving it that last squirt down all the intakes and outtakes of it, if you like, and yeah, just and visually inspecting it. It looks like I've got it all out. I can't see no more, which is great stuff. And yeah, so that there in there is the place to check. It really clogs up there. So there we go, all done. Let's put that into the bucket of clean stuff. The lid, just get the seal out, just prise it out. There we go, that's that done, out of the way. Again, the screw top that has a seal, making sure you get that off, change that over as well. Done. Just make sure the thread's clear, that's it, all clear. So it's all cleaned out by the actual main container as such, bowl container, whatever you like. So I've got to get down back into the engine bay to clean that out, and then we can start refitting it back up. Nice and simple. Getting the right equipment and getting all sorted is the key to doing this job, it really is. And getting everything ready before you start, because as you know, diesel is horrible stuff and it gets everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So anyway, let's move on. Well, as I said, just going to clean this off now, the actual main sort of bowl, if you like. Just give it a wipe round, and then it's just a question of visually inspecting it, making sure it's all nice and clean. What I'll do is I'll just get a screwdriver down there and just poke around in the actual hole there, make sure it's all clean and nothing's coming off. No gooiness down that pipe, just down there. Then it feels all good. And also just visually check it now. Just make sure that I can't see anything in there untoward, sort of thing. So okay, so for ease of cleaning this out, I ended up taking it out the bracket, which gives me a little bit more access and also a bit better for when I'm filming this. So ready to put it back. There's the witch's hat, as such. Make sure you put the ball bearing in. It's a floating bearing that acts as a valve, actually, a stop valve. Ball bearing in, washer, that goes in next. Make sure it's laying flush in the system. Then you want this component here, so it looks like that. And then it's just a question of locating it on and screwing it in on the filter. And there we go. It's going. Just a hand tight, that's it. So that's that portion done. I'm doing this with no gloves because sometimes when you're doing fiddly stuff like this, it's easier to not wear any gloves. So when you buy the filter, it all comes with the seals for the service, if you like. So it's just a matter of unpackaging and getting all the seals out ready to go. So let's do that next. Okay, so next is the seal that goes on the bottom there. So it's just a matter of placing it on, locating it, getting it all snugged in, Hopefully it'll go on. Can be a bit of a get on a bit, but there we go. Might be better if I turn it upside down a little bit, make it sitting there. That's it. Okay, so that's that done. I'm just going to get the bolts and all that ready to go. Okay, we've got the bowl. Just going to make sure that seal's all seated down nicely. There's a little bit of rubbish there, so just wipe that off. That's it. And just place it over like so. So I'll get some bolts in and then I'll give you a show. So just a matter of tightening it all up now. Got the bolts all located, the seal's in. It's just a matter of nipping the old bolts up, getting it snug. Just sort of finger tight at first, and then you can do the final adjustment once it's all seated. Hopefully you can see this. I'm not. So there we go, all done. I'm just going to do the final adjustments on the actual tightening. I'm going to do opposites each other. And that's it. So the bottom half is now done. So it's just about locating it back into the actual holding clamp, and we can then put the actual filter in itself and go from there. Well, the filter's now back in its housing clamp. It's now time to put the main filter in. And I'm using a 30 micron filter. So just place it in the top. It's a little bit snug at top, and push it right down so it's now in the actual housing. We've got the lid. Don't forget the seal. Let's put that on now. And there we go, there's the seal on. Place that on top, and then it's just a matter of getting the locating and it's just a matter of now getting the actual screw fitting that holds the lid down. But again, don't forget to put the O seal on, which makes the seal, so we don't want any air getting into this system. So just a matter of popping it on and just pushing it down to its location. There it is, there, and it's just a matter of putting it on and screwing it down. Just hand tight. I'm just going to check that that's done correctly. Yep, so I'm going to go that way. Done. Okay, so that's the filter done now. All I've got to do next is the filter on the engine, which I'll do next and show you how I do that. Okay, so it's now time to take the main filter off here. So I've cracked it with the a tool, removal tool. So it's just a question of placing it under and then just turning it like so. But it's now hand tight, so I shall undo it hand tight. So yeah, just spin it off. There's going to be a little bit of spillage. My bilge is quite dirty at the moment, so I'm not too worried. I'll clean that all up later on. Just try and contain the best you can, and it's just a question of disposing of it in a bucket, which is outside for me. So, disposed of the old filter in the bucket outside. I've got the new filter, which is there. I'm just going to put a little bit of diesel on that seal there, just to lubricate it, to help it spin on. I've lubricated the seal. I've put the date. Hopefully you can see that in the camera. The date of the day I put the actual new filter on, so it just reminds me when it was last done. So it's just a matter of putting it on now. So offer it up and just gently locate it, making sure you don't cross thread, and just spin it on, and it's just hand tight. And there we go. I'll see if I can do my right hand because it's slightly stronger. There we go, it's on. So that's it. I now need to open the bleed screw, which is just there, and then we can start priming with the primer, which is here on the pump. Sometimes this doesn't work particularly well, so what I'll do is I'll either take the pipe off and manually pump over a pump to help pump through to the Recoil filter, which then helps pump into here. We'll see how we go. And go from there. So that's next. Let's do that next.